my name is Melanie Skinner, and I own Burn Boot Camp in Ashburn. And we serve so many people. The gym originally was focused on mothers, but we have now expanded into men, women. We even do like teenagers. So we are attractive to all types.
Amazing. That sounds really awesome.
Yes.
So, kind of take me back to digging a little deeper how you got started in all this. Tell me how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So I was new mom, had moved here from, Arlington, didn't know anyone. And I was looking for a place to get back into fitness. I loved fitness my entire life. I was an athlete through college. And so I really loved what that brought to me, just mental clarity, being able to have 45 minutes to an hour of my own time. And once I became a mom, I really realized how important that was for my sanity. So I joined Burn Boot Camp about 6 years ago. We've been open 9 total years. And after a few years, my husband and I were talking. He is a franchise owner of a different franchise here locally in Loudoun County. And he was like, we should maybe think about opening a burn somewhere. My parents live in Texas. That seemed a little natural to us to maybe check out Texas. And when I was saying that to our operations manager, she was like, well, that's funny you say that. The owner was looking to sell. So I, went through the whole process of doing that, and I was very nervous to become a business owner. It was just not something I necessarily had in my to-do list. Prior to having kids, I was in the corporate world, in working in hotels and resorts, and I just wasn't sure if I could do it. But my husband was always the one who said, you got this, you can do it. And we bought it in December of what is it now? Today's in 22. So the end of the year in 22. And it's been great. It's been all I thought it would be. It's different than I thought it would be. It's better than I thought it would be. Owning a business is like every day brings different challenges. So it keeps me on my toes for sure.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's just such a fun, inspiring environment to be around. Women, men, everyone.
Yes. Yes, it's so fun to see. My favorite part is just seeing people come in to the gym so unsure of themselves. Am I going to be able to keep up? Am I going to feel like I'm the only person who can't do a push-up or a burpee or a pull-up? And then after their first camp, they leave with such a big smile on their face, proud of what they could do, and also inspired to know that they couldn't get to that next step as well through attending the camps.
Wonderful. Such a magical moment to kind of be
Yes.
part of, to see it all just kind of come full circle.
Yeah, I mean, it's a quick transformation. We talk a lot about in the business, we have transformation stories of people who in a year they've lost X amount of weight, or they used to not be able to do a burpee and now they can do a full burpee or anything. There's so many different ways to define transformation, and being able to see it even within that first 45 minutes of, okay, I'm very nervous. This is so new. It's natural to be nervous. And then to walk out really proud is so, so fun to witness.
That's wonderful. So, Burn Boot Camp Ashburn has grown to more than 700 members. An incredible achievement. What do you think has been the key to building such a loyal and thriving community?
Oh man, this is a tough question because there's, I think, so many factors. One is just how involved that our members are in the community. We're currently collecting bags for Loudoun Hunger Relief. So we get involved in so many different areas in the community. We will do teacher camps we know those teachers, God bless teachers, right? Because they're with those kids all day and they deserve to have that 45 minutes of me time. So we will focus on the teachers. But really, I think a testament to our growth is our members, because they see what Burn has done for them, and they want to then touch other of their friends' lives and bring them in. So that is the best thing as a referral that we can get, because we know that they see the value in us and that they're feeling the difference within themselves. And so bringing in their friends and family, I think that has been a really big key to our growth.
For sure. And I love the point you made about me time, because we can all use some me time, and just that 45 minutes can be enough to...
Yes. Yes. And, the misconception is always that, you have to work out for like 3 hours a day and all of this. And that's really not the case. I think the thing that makes us so unique with Burn is that when you come in there, you don't have to think about it, right? Like, you have a trainer leading you through, you have a trainer fixing your form, you have a trainer telling you, okay, now it's time to rotate. You have other members in the gym motivating you. So all of those things that sometimes you walk into a gym and you're like, I don't know if I feel like it today. You don't really have that option at Burn, because you have people sitting there making sure holding you accountable for the whole 45 minutes. And so you can really get so much out of those 45 minutes when you're being pushed and held accountable.
Perfect. Everyone just kind of helps each other out.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
it. Burn Boot Camp isn't just about fitness, it's about connection and empowerment. How would you describe the culture you built inside your gym?
Ooh, I think the culture a lot starts from our trainers. Our trainers take their roles very seriously, and they will make sure that throughout the camp you are pushing yourself, and that pushing yourself looks different to every person. If this is your first month in fitness or your 10th year in fitness, we're all on different, paths. And so I think the empowerment thing is seeing that you're able to do something you didn't think you could. We have people come in and say, I can only lift 10 pounds. Like, I could never lift a 20-pound weight. And we're like, the trainers will say, just try it. Trust me. They build that trust with the member, because ultimately we just want to see everyone succeed in whatever their goals may be. And it's easy for us to get stuck, with our blinders on, saying, oh, I could never lift anything heavier than 10 pounds. Well, have you tried? Let's try it and work ourselves up to that. And so the empowerment comes from the trainers being able to say to them, like, I believe in you, so now you need to believe in yourself. And then they pick up the 20-pound weights and are like, oh, wow, I didn't think I could do that, and that sets the tone for the rest of their day too, as moms, business owners, employees, wives, sisters. We have so much on our plate. And so being able to walk away from something and being empowered, that helps your decisions throughout the day as well. When you go into work and you have a hard choice to make, you start trusting your inner voice a lot more than you normally would have.
That's such an amazing way to start the day.
Yes, it is. And we have members, our first camp is at 4:30 in the morning, which people are like, that is insane, but the days, there's only so much time in the day. And I will say, I think a lot of those ladies and men who go to camp that early, like, they probably go to bed a lot earlier than others, because they know they have to prioritize the sleep. But we have, 40 to 60 people every morning at 4:30 in the morning, all the way up. I always say the people who work out at 4:30 a.m. are warriors, and the people who work out after work or at their lunch break are also warriors, because it's just after an entire day in the office and then being like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go work out. It's incredible to me. I'm an early bird, so by these days when the sun goes down at 5 p.m., I'm like, is it bedtime yet?
Right.
But then there's people still working out until 7:15 at night. So it's really fun just to see the different personalities of when people come to camp and don't.
We all have our own schedule,
Yes.
and that's awesome that you are able to provide a service that works for all different schedules, and because it's different for everyone.
Yeah, and you can come whenever you want throughout the day, and we have some nurses who work night shifts, and then they come into 4:30 a.m. camp, and then that is so amazing to me, because they're out there doing the real work, saving lives in doing such harder things than a squat with 40-pound weights, but then they still want to get that time to themselves afterwards.
For sure. So, getting back into transformations, many people join fitness programs for physical transformation, but end up experiencing mindset changes too. What kind of transformations have you witnessed that inspire you the most?
Yeah, I love to see the weight loss, because that is typically what a lot of people come into gym. That's what they think they want to get out of fitness. Well, what they learn along the way is like, that's a nice side effect, but what I really needed was to be told I can do it, was to be high-fived, was to have that close community that I don't necessarily get, because maybe I work from home during the day, so I don't get that human interaction. And so my most favorite transformations are those mental ones. I had a lady the other day, she orders our swag, our retail, our merch. And she always ordered a specific size. And when it came in, I texted her, I said, I don't think you're gonna be able to fit into this anymore. And when she came into the gym, I made her try on the smaller size, and she literally started crying, because she was like, I just didn't think at my age I would be able to lose the weight and be able to fit into something. Like, I thought that I was at a point in my life where I wasn't gonna get to do new things. And so for people like that to say, wow, okay, like something I didn't think I was going to be able to do mentally. And I had set like a roadblock in my head. Now the world is endless. Like my options are endless because I've done something I didn't think I necessarily was going to be able to. And, we've had people go into cardiac arrest on the floor. We had someone go into cardiac arrest, and we had, by like such the grace of, and just being thankful that they're able to be in the gym because our trainers were able to perform mouth to mouth and able to then do CPR. And then we used an AED, and that our member survived. And the doctor said, you're so lucky that you weren't in a grocery store or driving your car, where you were in a place that people were actually capable and able and willing to save you. So those kind of transformations, that's just something we won't ever forget. We've had a member who I don't know if he was having a heart attack at the time, but we sent him home from camp because we were very concerned, and texted his wife and said, you need to take him to the hospital. And he was having a heart attack. And so it's just things like that where you just realize you're doing so much more here than losing weight. You're saving people's lives in so many different ways, whether it's, haven't believed in myself for 20 years and I don't think that I can do it, to walking out and saying, wow, I can do it. Now I'm going to go ask for a raise at my job because I have the confidence to do that.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Confidence is key, and this just seems like a space where it is just so empowering, and you can really just feed off of each other.
You can. And we are huge believers in high fives. And we always say, like if you come into the gym and you're not used to that, that can sometimes be a little off-putting. Like, I don't know these strangers and the high fives but the reason that we do it is the transfer of energy between the high five of like, you got this. Like, we're doing this together. We're all suffering through Metcon together. We're all like, our arms are all hurting from doing curls. And so being able to do that and transfer that between people and just the personal connection that really drives, these are people that maybe would have never like cross paths in their lives. We have an engineer, we have a nurse, we have a stay-at-home mom, we have a former NFL athlete. Like all of these people, they maybe never would have crossed paths, and they've formed this bond in camp because they're all going through the same thing, and it's hard for every single one of them in different ways.
Wonderful. So you can gain a lot of new friends.
Yes, and that's so hard, in adult lives. We're busy outside of the gym, and then you add kids into the mix and their sports and their events. And so being able to not only have the 45 minutes of me time like we talked about earlier, but then also on top of it, having people to talk to and to gain relationships with through it in the gym is so important.
Absolutely. I love it. So a question I have for you is, the fitness industry is always evolving. What are some of the biggest trends or conversations you're seeing right now that you think people should be paying attention to?
Oh, man. Yeah, there's always fitness trends. I mean, we can think of them forever. And the biggest one that we still are always overcoming is the thought of that strength training makes you bulky. For years, I remember myself as a not child, but, teenager and through college thought, okay, I don't want to lift heavy weights because I'm going to get so bulky. When in reality, that's not the case. And so that's something that we are always trying to break, that preconceived notion of you're not going to bulk up because you're lifting 20-pound weights, but it's just been put in our head for so long. I think a really big hot button issue is GLP-1s in fitness right now. And there's so much unknown. I'm obviously not a doctor, so I don't know, but there are so many positives to it as well. If it's something that you are a candidate for, and then taking them in conjunction with strength training as well, like not losing the muscle, because I think that sometimes the side effect can be like, okay, yeah, you've lost the weight, but you also have no strength. And we see so much that there's always going to be studies on, as we age, what's important. And the number one thing that's important is muscle. So the exercising, the keeping active. So those are really big trends that we look at. But in fitness, like the trends kind of come and go very quick. And so just knowing to stay the path of consistency, I think, is the biggest thing. It's not important what you do one day. It's not important what you do for 5 days. It's important what you do for 1 year. And it's not a quick fix. Like fitness done correctly is not a quick fix. And it's building the muscles, building the routine, building the determination to then at 4:30 in the morning still wanting to wake up even on the cold days where you're like, it'd be nice if I could just sleep in. But if you have some of that dedication and consistency, you're going to see results over time.
For sure. Just having that strive to get up and get it done,
Yeah,
it'll be all worth it in
it
the
will.
end.
And no one ever, there's like a saying, like, you never regret any workout that you do because you always feel better afterwards. And it's so true. You never leave saying like, oh, I wish I would have skipped today. You're like, I'm so thankful I didn't skip today, even though my everything in me was telling me not to go. But you're always grateful that you went.
Absolutely. I love that. And about your team, as a leader, how do you keep your team motivated and aligned with your mission, especially during the busier or more demanding seasons of running the gym?
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing that I've done best is that I have a very good team behind me. That is just, they love the gym just as much as I do. They take ownership of the members and just the experience that prospective members come in checking us out. They take so much pride in how they treat them. And keeping them motivated is actually easy because who motivates them are the members. So when we see some of those transformations, when we see people doing things they didn't think they can do, that feeds their soul. Especially we have trainers who that's like their number one goal. Then we have burn ambassadors, they're more at the front of the house and they love learning everyone's names. We have over 700 members and they all know everyone's names and they can say to them like, hey, how was your son's basketball game? And that matters so much to the members, but it's also the personal connection. That's what they get out of it as well. And our busy, it is difficult because you just have so many waves, throughout the year. But really, they love meeting new people and seeing how many lives can we change because ultimately that's our mission. It's not about how many members can we have because we want to have the most. We want to see how many lives in Ashburn are we able to change for the better. And so that keeps them motivated. And then we also have Child Watch. So we include free Child Watch in our camps, most of our camps, which is why it's such a father friendly gym and atmosphere. And those ladies, they just like, we call them our angels because they're giving those moms and dads those 45 minutes and entertaining them and playing Uno and reading books. And they do crafts and we do such a variety, and they really do. They love celebrating the kiddos' birthdays, and they're all members at the gym as well, so they see the value in it. The managing of the team is something that I think I wouldn't say undervalued, more just like I didn't realize how hard that was going to be because that is a really hard task. I have 30 plus employees, and it's a lot of personalities and it's just a lot of moving parts because they all have families and they can sometimes work here and sometimes not work there. And that's been really such a fun challenge for me, I would say. And just it's changed the way that I manage as I've been there almost 3 years, the way that I think I handled situations 3 years ago. I handle better as a leader. It's easy. As a person, I'm pretty black and white personality. Like I'm in or I'm out. Like there's no gray. But as a leader, I've had to learn that there's a lot of gray, and sometimes the response needs to wait so that I can have a minute to figure out, like, okay, how do I respond? What's best for everyone in the situation? Not just your immediate responses to say like yes or no. And so I've learned to live in the gray a little bit more than I thought I wanted to, maybe. But which is scary at times, my favorite saying that I've lived by since I was a child in gymnastics because there were so many exercises that are tricks that scared me was do one thing every day that scares you. And for me that's sometimes running a business. I mean it's scary in economies and just the way that the world is. It's hard to please everyone. You want to please everyone, but sometimes that means sacrificing like the values of the business or like your own values. And it's scary to run a business. It is. But it's so much fun and it has empowered me and I hope it's empowered my staff to then make decisions and trust their own gut and that they, following their gut is so important.
For sure. It sounds like you have an amazing team of people on your side.
They're really like, some of them have been there almost 9 years since it's been open. So I relied so much on them when I took over because, yes, I was a member, but we always call it like seeing behind the curtain because, once you become involved more in the business, you see it is a business. We are trying to make everyone's lives better. We are trying to touch more people and improve their lives and their kids' lives. But it is a business at the end of the day. And so balancing that is really tough because sometimes you want to say, this is what's best for the business, but then there's the personal side as well. So just finding that balance and with having so many staff, I have two main leaders, an operations manager, and she handles that, and then a lead trainer. And so I really try to let them stay in their own lanes. Like, I want you to own these people. I want you to own that. I want you to make decisions that are going to make your lives and their lives easier at the gym because a lot of our employees, it's their second job. A lot of them have full-time jobs or they're stay-at-home moms. And so I rely on them to tell me what is going to make things easier on them at the gym because I'm not in there working every single day like they are. And so I think it's really important as a business owner to really know, like, I have my own lane and I have touch points, but like I want them to be empowered to make the decisions.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's really interesting how there's so many moving parts and different people to make this all work to
Yeah.
just get those end results for everybody
Yeah.
that we're all wanting. So
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
I mean, people used to say, like, how do you guys know our names? I'm like, you don't even want to know how much goes into like learning names, right? Especially with the trainers on the floor, they're calling people by name during camp. So they have 60, 70 people in camp. They need to know the names. And it's an art form to learn these names. It truly is. And, we have pictures and we will text each other like, hey, who's this? Remind me, I want to make sure I shout them out. We celebrate people's birthdays. We call them their burn anniversary. So how long they've been members. Like I said, we've had members who have been there for 9 years, who are day one members that are still there. And fitness is something that people are kind of always searching to find their thing. There's so many options, which is great because what works for me may not work for you. And what works for me at 30 may not work for me at 40 or 50. And so I love that we've been able to evolve with these members. 9 years, they've likely changed. We've changed. And so it's really fun to see just how much work and effort goes into making sure that when they walk through those doors, it's 45 minutes of bliss, even though you're dying and you're sore and you're out of breath and your heart rate's high. Like, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. And I also want to touch on, I think it's great that they try to memorize everyone's names because it is the best feeling walking into a place that you were regular at and
Yes.
they're like, hey,
Yes.
so-and-so, how's
Yes.
it going? Like, it's just the best feeling to feel recognized and to feel seen.
It's it really is so small. And a lot of times you don't notice it until you also don't have it, right? Like, we have those standards, but if you walk in somewhere and you're like, someone's like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. And you think to yourself, I've met you like 5 times. Like, I know who you are. It just kind of makes you think like it's not a great feeling, right? So the name things, it's so, so, so small, but it has such an impact because it may be the only time that day that they're getting a smile and a high five from you and saying like, hey, Melanie, thanks for joining us today. I hope you have fun at camp. And that may be the highlight of their day, and we talk about this. And I know you and I had talked about this, just the world is hard outside of our 4 walls. There are issues that every single person is going through, whether it be a divorce or a miscarriage or they lost their job. And so being in a place where they are able to really connect with people that are also going through it or have gone through it or have advice or, hey, I know someone that could maybe look into getting you a job, or I used to work with so-and-so, or I'm looking to hire people. It's just so fun to see those kind of connections that are made because you think sometimes, like I had a lot of fertility issues and getting pregnant, and I remember going to the gym specifically. I was a member. I went into the gym. I had just found out I had a miscarriage, and like the second the camp started, I was just like full tears. And someone next to me like noticed and asked like, oh my gosh, are you like, is everything okay? And I just unleashed, and she was like, I just went through this too. And so immediately I just felt less alone. I mean, still horrible, still sad, still a hard time, but just not feeling like I'm the only one dealing with this. Everyone around me is having this blissful day and I'm having a hard day. So those kind of moments in gyms, that's what it just made me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one that's struggling. And that's so important to know. There's so many people that struggle in silence. And so being able to say that to people and have them not only understand, but also commiserate with you of like, here's how I helped myself. And those 45 minutes can change everything.
Absolutely. Being able to relate like that, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So speaking of anniversaries, your location is celebrating its 9-year anniversary soon. A huge milestone. What does that accomplishment mean to you personally, and how do you plan to celebrate?
Yes. So we actually just celebrated 9 years, and it was really just a good memory of how far we have come. And like I said, it's just people's lives changed so much in 9 years. We looked at photos of people working out in the gym 9 years ago, and we're like, oh my goodness, we've now painted the gym twice and gotten new workout, new weights. And oh wow, our protein powder we used to sell has come a really long way. Like the graphic is so much nicer on the can. And so just being able to look back and say, not only have I come a long way in 9 years, have other members come a long way, but also what have we learned in those 9 years? What have we learned about ourselves? What can we take and move forward with? And next year is Big 10. So I'm sure we'll do something big for that. I haven't decided what yet, but it's really a feat in fitness to be able to say that you've been open for 9 years.
For sure. And 10 years next year. I mean,
yes.
That's crazy.
It's really crazy. And you think so many people come in a gym like, I'll try it. Like, I'll try it for a month. And then you end up staying for 9 years. That's a testament to just the brand itself and how hard it's been being worked to make sure that we're evolving with the trends of fitness.
Beautiful. There's always growth to be had.
Yes, always.
So every new year brings a wave of people ready to restart their fitness journey. Can you tell us more about the special 4-week trial program you offer and what makes it such a great introduction to Burn Boot Camp?
Sure. So we do a big promo starting in January. We actually are starting to sell, December 29th this year. So we start selling it, and then members can come within a week. They can start from when they purchase the voucher. So they purchase it on our website. It's 4 weeks, and you really get to experience the whole package of the gym. So you can use Child Watch. You obviously can come to unlimited camps. And then we also offer something called Fit Focus meetings, which is where you sit down with a trainer and you just share, like, here's some of my goals, whether it's I want to do a push-up or I want to be able to run a mile without stopping. And so for those 4 weeks, you really get a good feel of how often will I attend? Will I like every workout? Sometimes, if you come in for your first camp, it's leg day and that's your least favorite day. Well, you get to try for a whole month. So find the days that you like more or the workouts that you like more. So it's really just a good way to see, my goal for the new year is, for so many people, is fitness, whether that's for like mental reasons or physical reasons. And so it's a good way to start off the new year and say, okay, will I use it? Because we don't want you to be a member if you're not going to use it and take full advantage of it. And that doesn't mean every day. We're open 6 days a week, but we don't encourage you to come 6 days a week right out of the gate. You need to come 3 or 4 and make sure you're going to be sore.
Ease into it a little
Yeah,
bit.
like I've worked out there for 8 years and I'm still sore every day that I work out. Like sore is good, sore is normal. But if you're not into a fitness routine right now, it can be difficult to go from 0 to 6, not necessarily recommended. But it's just a really good way to see what our gym and what our trainers and what our community can really bring to your life.
Understood. Yeah, it seems like a great way to just take advantage of the situation and see if it's something you want to keep doing.
Yes.
Wonderful. A wonderful opportunity. And finally, for someone listening who's on the fence about starting their fitness journey, maybe nervous, maybe unsure, what would you tell them about what they can expect to find at Burn Boot Camp in Ashburn?
You can expect to find just a community of people who are striving to make themselves better. And that's really what you can always count on at Ashburn. You also can, I think the nervousness is very, very normal. Anything new, doing a podcast, it's new to me. You know, it makes you nervous. That's natural. But I think it's really important for everyone to understand, like, no one's watching because everyone is also working out really hard and in their own world and, you know, sometimes has their mind going elsewhere. So I think it's really important to know that you're not going to be just all eyes on you. People are concerned about what you can and cannot do. Just come in. We always say the hardest thing to do is to step in the door. Once you step in the door, everything else is taken care of. You can count on a community of people. You can find someone who's also on day 1 or day 5 or month 5 or year 5. And so there's going to be someone in every camp that you can relate to with where you are in your fitness journey.
Beautiful. And as we wrap up, is there anything you would like to add that I haven't touched on today?
We are being rewarded the Mark of Excellence Award from Burn Boot Camp headquarters. So they're coming in a few weeks, and we are one of 6 locations that received the award this year. So they come and they celebrate us. We do a ribbon cutting, and they really are celebrating our members because it really is representative of what our community is. And that's a big differentiator of Burn is it's not just you walk in, you work out, and you leave. You walk in, you work out, you leave, but what you do within those 45 minutes is the community of people that are supporting you. And so that's really the biggest difference between Burn. And that's what keeps so many people like me and tired moms and exhausted employees coming into work out because they know that community is going to keep them up.
You built such an inspiring community here, and it was so great to hear your story.
Thank you. Yes.
So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today, Melanie.
Absolutely.
And I wish you the best of luck. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
9 years, and I can't wait for the
Thank
10
you.
years for you guys.
Thank you. Yes, big celebration. Big celebration.
You got to do it up big.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
again.
you.